Hello and welcome to the show. And today we have a special guest, and your name is?
Alex.
Alex, and she's going to be talking about
JFK.
JFK. So, can you tell us a little bit about Kennedy's past?
Yes, he was born in 1961 on May 29th in Brooklyn, Massachusetts. Kennedy's mother was Rose Elizabeth Fitzgerald. She was a Boston debut. His father, Joseph Kennedy Sr., was a successful banker who made a fortune after World War I. He later went on to be an ambassador of Great Britain. Kennedy, his nickname was Jack. He was the second oldest son of 9 extraordinary children. His father had great hopes for all of the children and instilled competitiveness upon all of them. Kennedy was often a sick child with the flu or a virus and even scarlet fever. He also had many other sicknesses that they didn't know what it was, that took him out of school for months and weeks and brought him to the brinks of death. Later, Kennedy went to college and decided to write his research paper on why Britain was so unprepared for World War II. This paper was so well received that upon Kennedy's graduation in 1940, it was published as a book. It was called Why England Slept, selling more than 80,000 copies.
Wow, that's very, very interesting. So, what did Kennedy do after graduating from college?
Shortly after graduating from Harvard, Kennedy joined the U.S. Navy and was assigned a commander of a patrol torpedo boat in the South Pacific on August 2nd, 1943. His boat was rammed by a Japanese warship and split into two. 2 sailors died, and Kennedy led the survivors back to an island where they waited for 6 days to be rescued, where the incident earned him the Navy Marine Corps Medal for extremely heroic conduct and the Purple Heart for his injuries, because he injured his back during it. And they discharged him from the Navy. He worked briefly as a reporter for the Heart newspaper. Then in 1946, at age 29, he decided that he should run for the U.S. House of Representatives.
So what pushed Kennedy to run for president?
Kennedy's older brother, Joseph Kennedy Jr., who had also joined the U.S. Navy, died when his plane crashed in August 1944. Joseph Kennedy Jr. had been the one amongst the children, his father's children, that they thought would succeed the best and become president. And upon his death, Kennedy took the family's hopes and dreams for him upon himself and set out to become the president of the United States.
So, Alex, what happened during his running for president?
In 1956, Kennedy was nearly the Democratic presidential candidate, but he did not win. 4 years later, he decided to run for president again. In 1960, Kennedy outmaneuvered his main opponent, Herbert Humphrey, with superior organization and financial resources. Kennedy bested Nixon, an experienced and skilled debater, by appearing relaxed and healthy and vigorous. In contrast to his opponent, on November 8th, 1960, Kennedy defeated Nixon, but only by a little. He became the 35th president of the United States of America at the age of 43, to be the second youngest president ever.
What did Kennedy first do as president?
Kennedy's greatest accomplishment was during his brief time as president came in the form of foreign affairs. Capitalizing on the spirit of the activism he had helped to ignite. Kennedy created the Peace Corps by by executive order in 1961. By the end of the century, over 170,000 Peace Corps volunteers would serve in 135 countries. Also in 1961, Kennedy created the Alliance for Progress to foster great economic ties with Latin America in hopes of ending their poverty. He also pushed to stop the spread of communism in the region. On April 15, 1961, he authorized a covert mission to overthrow Cuban leader Fidel Castro with a group of 1,500 CIA-trained Cuban refugees, known as the Bay of Pigs invasion. The mission proved an failure, causing Kennedy great embarrassment.
So, what did Kennedy do during the time of the Civil Rights Act?
The most continuous Democratic issue of Kennedy's presidency was the civil rights. In September 1962, Kennedy sent his brother, Attorney General Robert Kennedy, to Mississippi to use the National Guard and federal marshals to escort and defend civil rights activist James Meredith, as he became the first black student to enroll in the University of Mississippi on October 1st, 1962. Near the end of 1963, in the wake of the March on Washington and Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech, Kennedy finally sent a civil rights bill to Congress on the last act of his presidency and his life. Kennedy's bill eventually passed as the landmark civil right in 1964.
So, Alex, what can you tell us about his assassination?
On November 21st, 1963, President Kennedy flew to Dallas, Texas on a campaign. The next day, November 22nd, Kennedy, along with his wife and Texas Governor John Connally, rode through cheering crowds in downtown Dallas, Texas in a Lincoln convertible. From an upstairs window of the Texas School Book Department building, a 24-year-old warehouse worker named Lee Harvey Oswald, a former Marine with Soviet sympathies, fired upon Kennedy, hitting the president twice. Kennedy died at the Parkland Memorial Hospital shortly thereafter, at the age of 46.